Ladies and Germans, how you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we are giving you some more Season 7 SD2 League action today. This is Division 1, of course. You can probably tell by the names. But Rang, who are these guys and what are they bringing to the fray?
On the left-hand side in the blue, we have Herr playing third Fallschirmjager with a balanced income. Right-hand side in the red, we have Gonzo playing the first pose, also with a balanced income.
You know, I kind of feel like when any single time we see Gonzo running things other than Maverick, I feel like the world is kind of out of whack. I feel like Gonzo wants to always be that Maverick player. I'm sure, you know, there's probably some more tactical sense behind this particular decision. But as we start breaking out here, what do you see kind of developing earlier on?
We're seeing a pretty heavy push here from Herr down south, using the Italian meme cards, the Flammenwerfers to get into those important positions on the opposing hill, so yeah, it's a very aggressive push here right now.
Actually, the thing I'm kind of excited about here is that, look at the pulls up to the north. Usually you just see that just grindy fest going into there, but I don't know that necessarily Herr really wants to have that to happen. It looks like he's going for a much more meager kind of defensive line.
Yeah, I mean, two Fallschirmjagers will still be quite a bit to go through, but it's just very defensive up north and down south. He is making pretty bang-on progress. He's getting a really good foothold onto his lung here. Gonzo's forces aren't quickly coming in for defense, but he's blitzkrieging here. Well, Gonzo is actually starting to do a little bit of a counterattack, pushing along the southern hill of his superiors.
Which is a good thing, because there's still those LG-42s over here. Those guys, again, very, very, you know, I'm not going to say meager firepower, because they're quite serious. But there is already an 82mm stovepipe, as well as an S-276 moving up in close support. So this is, I feel like those field guns aren't going to be lasting for too much longer.
No, yeah, definitely are going to face a little bit of trouble just due to early artillery play, and it's definitely a good call, because a lot of the third Fallschirmjager, heavy fire support those LG-42s, PaK-40s, Black 88. So being able to blow them up from a safe and respectable distance is a decent way of dealing with them.
Now, taking a look in the meantime, in the middle, geez, these Fallschirmjager Pioneers, and just, wow, just Fallschirmjager just flat. Crushing the Sapirzi, forcing it back. Of course, those Carnies, not one to really be in the fray for too long, but at least we do see the NKVD troops to kind of keep them a little bit more on the front lines. Kind of nice to see those guys. Usually we're just so used to just seeing, broken hearts everywhere we look, and no one to kind of give them some,
Yeah, it's actually quite weird seeing NKVDs. I mean, it makes sense because the Polish penal troops are disheartened, so you do want to keep them a little bit more heartened with the PPSH to their backs. But not going to be working in this case, because, yeah, the main problem fighting third Fallschirmjager, and why it gets banned a lot, is Fallschirmjagers, especially in a very infantry-heavy meta which we're in, they're some of the best infantry in the game.
Yes. Yes, very, very true. Now, you said about you're not a big fan of kind of seeing them overall. I don't know. I feel like if we throw in a little bit of those NKVDs, the Carnies become a rather disgustingly, I would argue, most effective fighting force. 3 DP light machine guns? Like, come on. 20 troops in the squad? There's so much firepower as a potential.
Yeah, they definitely do help out quite a bit in boosting those penal troops. It's just a problem with NKVDs. It does use up, I'd say, not a super important support slot, but yeah, it could also be another machine gun or supply truck. It's always a hard contest for those types of units.
True. Very, very true. Now, we do have an 88mm on the field. Of course, not going to do much against that IL-2. Those guys, the flying brick, being that as it is. Yeah, it gets a little bit nervous, but not really anything too crazy to write home about. But we do see an early Stug over here. As a reminder, of course, third Fallschirmjagers not really known for their armor.
No, not a whole lot. Just a handful of Stugs to keep the enemy T-34s at bay. If you can use them at long range, you can effectively deal with said T-34s, or Gonzo does have access to some S-35s as well. But for Gonzo, it's really going to come down to good use of fire support, because he cannot engage those Fallschirmjagers head-on. He needs the mortars, he needs the IL-2s, he needs the T-34s to do a lot of the heavy lifting for him, because his infantry in this sort of matchup, even though the Polish infantry is pretty decent, they get a quite good selection, are more just kind of force recon by firepower. And by firepower, I mean the firepower coming towards you and then shouting at the tank, say, hey, shoot those guys before we die, please.
You know, it's kind of funny making the comment about having the heavy lifting done by these tanks. Because when you look at it, their tank tab is yeah, it looks kind of meager earlier on, but they just get wave upon wave of T-34s just overall. I don't know. I feel like Pole's always got kind of a bad rap because they don't have the ISs in every single direction, that they don't have, you know, anything really more than the Su-85 as a heavy tank.
Yeah, but you don't really need the heavier tanks, just regular T-34 spam, and yeah, there's a couple Su-85, some Zis-2s thrown in if you do have them. More respectable, really, in most matchups, because heavy tanks are just kind of big, expensive targets at this point in the game.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I've been seeing the T-34 doing decent damage, shooting one of those Italian clown cars. And it's going to be very interesting to see just how Gonzo can position this. Because her robot is in a pretty good position on the hill, and her robot also has long-range firepower advantage. So it's going to be about maneuvering those T-34s and using those disc guns effectively.
Actually, I do like this 210 off map.
Yeah.
This is a great call right here. This force on top of this hill, I don't think we can really appreciate. I'm sure over on my side just kind of showed it, but moving from that first plateau to the top of that hill on either side, it's murderous. It is so hard to get up there once the other side has a decent kind of layered defense.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do hope that her robot will capitalize and actually move up his infantry. He's a little bit danger close to his own artillery, but maybe if those Fallschirmjagers just, you know, really duck their head in the sand, might be able to survive.
You know, nothing ventured, nothing gained, though, too. So, you see right now, first barrage is coming in, and the entire hilltop is just shellacked.
There's not much of a hill anymore. He's taken some pretty heavy morale damage of his own, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, he's pushing up immediately. All of Gonzo's troops are being forced to fall back. We're seeing the AB-41 try and pick off some of the guys who are retreating, actually falling back a little bit. Huh.
I like that a little bit more. It's a little bit more conservative, yes, but it does at least guarantee you have fire support if your infantry, which is already pinned, has to get a little bit of, you know, frisky with the enemy foot who still might be there. So I don't know. I think it makes sense.
We're seeing this constant mortar fire from Gonzo, actually using smoke, trying to actually smoke out the enemy units, but not going to be working in this case, as her robot can just move up, and he's going to be capturing that hill. So, I mean, both are playing balanced. Her robot's got a pretty, you know, good map control and pretty good momentum, especially with that off-map artillery strike. He just needs to defend the hills, and he should win this match.
Here's an interesting thing overall. I know right now we saw Fallschirmjagers engaging those NKVD troops before actually going after the officers. What is the target priority for that? Is that you go for the NKVD because you know for sure that it was the disheartened? What do you do?
Yeah, I'd go for the NKVDs, just because then the other guys will fall down easier, and the NKVDs are only a 4-man squad. Oh, we're seeing IR2's being brought in, one against the Stug.
But the Stug saw it quick enough. No, he got back out of it. That was an instant retreat. So really, really well done. Yeah,
and with her robot, he needs to be very conservative with his armored vehicles, because he doesn't get a lot of them. We're almost into the end of A phase here, and a lot of his AB-41 are still alive, so that's a pretty good position for her robot to be in.
Certainly. And well, I mean, in Phase B, that's where we get to see all the little puppies coming on out. T-34 goes down to a 210 off map down south, and a lot of this equipment is forced into a very, very heavy retreat.
Yeah.
One thing I'm kind of curious about is, if you go into that forest... Yep. You know what? Ooh, Su-76 going down as well. So far, that 210 has been the most, I think, effective killing machine over here from Herr Robert's side. I'd like to see some Pupchins. Ooh, a Pack 40 is also a good idea in there as well. In that southern hilltop.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a lovely position for that gun to be in. But yeah, I mean, just her robot's in a really good defensive spot. His infantry have the long-range firepower. Gonzo's just gonna have to keep investing in mortars and air power, which is what he's doing if he wants to charge back. Because at least one advantage is that being on those hilltops, it's a rather concentrated location. So you can just kind of shoot in the general direction, and you're bound to blow up some Fallschirmjagers.
True. True, and let's keep that in mind. As the further and further we go, we also have Luftwaffe Jaegers that kind of get brought on in, but those guys are disheartened as well. So don't expect to see the same kind of killiness as we go into Phase B and Phase C, at least not immediately.
Mm-hmm.
We are seeing the northern town reinforced a little bit from the German side. In fact, yep, lots of disheartened troops being thrown on in there to the front. Sans officers, I'm not sure I like that very much, but, you know, bodies are bodies, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm thinking for Gonzo, really his best bet is maybe just try and push heavy in the town. I mean, it's also going to be tough too, because that's a pretty good Fallschirmjager location, just due to all the open spots between the buildings and the amount of automatic firepower you can bring in.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was to bring in some T-34s and some mortars to back up his infantry, I think he has a pretty good shot, and he just needs to try and, you know, curbish the momentum to another point of the map.
I don't think that's going to happen. There's now another 4 or 5. There's like a company and a half being brought to the northern side. IL-2 to the center, though, that's going to herald, I would argue, a new... Yep. A new push over here, trying to take that lung back. He's going to get 1 flag, so still a -1 bleed. But, you know, one at a time.
Yeah.
Get some pieces here and there.
I do like his LG-42 position. He has eyes on the T-34 and is slowly trying to pick him off.
And nope. But down
not
south,
the most accurate gun.
We are seeing more smoke being levied onto that hilltop, and I don't know, what's that Pack 40 shooting at? Is he shooting at that supply truck?
Yes.
Ooh.
That'd be a good kill.
And it is a very good kill. Unfortunately, there's still one to the southern side as well. Wow. There's been some artillery duels over here that have been very, very good. I'm quite surprised.
Yeah, I do like his use of smoke here from Gonzo. He's going to be pushing up his penal troops. The problem is, without any tank fire support, those penal troops are going to get mowed out in the open, even with the smoke cover. Because they're not good you need, like, proper CQC troops to deal with the Fallschirmjagers. But these penal troops are not yet.
Mortars see the Pack 40 and are now going to rain unholy devastation upon that thing. Now this guy's going to go down. Yep. Not too surprising there. You know, despite the fact that these are Fallschirmjagers, I haven't seen a whole lot of, you know, Luftwaffe kind of support.
No, we haven't actually. It's really just been a heavy investment in the ground game. Herr Robert just trying to get, you know, those important objectives early on, especially if he had initial push. And I think just his Fallschirmjagers alone have been enough to push the front. He hasn't needed to require on the might of Luftwaffe to save him for now. He's probably going to want to get some fighter planes when those IL-2 start really coming in spades.
I will say, look at the northern town. This northern town is now, well, let's just say the Reds are no longer in the pole position. IL-2 is going to come in. He's going to pound some of this infantry into quiescence. But not to be outdone. Those guys are still on the front lines. There's an NKVD troop. And if he goes down, I would argue that the rest of those troops become pretty much non-entities. Yeah,
this is just a really good indication that Herr Robert still holds a momentum as he is leading the attack up north. He is taking a bit of firepower, and I've seen Gonzo actually using clusters just to try and stun up some enemy troops. But Herr Robert still has a whole lot of firepower here, and as you can see, Gonzo is immediately bringing in all the reinforcements he can to try and hold onto his town.
But what do you think? You think he's actually going to be able to do that? Because I feel like I'm a little bit skeptical right now, because the NKVD troops, that's dead. So now what?
Yeah, I do feel like Herr Robert's going to be able to make some good progress. I don't feel like he's going to get all the way to the flag at the tip of the town, but he's going to be able to get a decent amount of headway and maybe even capture the flag on a bridge. That's pretty likely. Oh, but look in the lung. Gonzo managing to make a bit of headway here.
True, but now we have more of the clown cars going back the other direction. So T-34 will go and claim... Oh, no, it's not. Well done, thank you. Thank you for saving a clown car's life.
Yeah.
Ooh, the 380 get a call. Oh, there's a 380 call in back in the mortars.
Oh.
I think the mortars know that they're there because we are seeing some redeployment. But he's probably going to be able to pick up that supply truck, which is its own brand of victory, I would argue.
Yeah, and I feel like he'd be able to pick up the mortars as well. They're not going to be able to escape that devastation.
Well, one of them's going to survive. But even if he kills 2 of them here, that's 50% of the stovepipe opportunities over here from the poles. Jeez. That's
just a lot of firepower. And we just see how Robert has, the 2 Stugs in the southern side. He has very good defense on that southern hill. And his infantry, is doing pretty decent. Gonzo still has a good control over the lung. But it's really because the T-34 is kind of blocking the SPWs from actually being able to provide any adequate fire support.
True, and actually up to the northern side, that town's having a bit of a reversal as Sapirtsi with flamethrowers are coming on in. So, once again, I continue to ask the question, where is the Luftwaffe?
Yeah, he really just needs, a fighter plane or 2. Or some anti-air. He has 2 37 mils in the middle, but that's a decent amount of anti-air, but it's just very
it's out of
concentrated.
Position. It's out of position. I do like the 380 to the north though.
Oh yeah, that's gonna these off-map artillery strikes have been essentially running Herr Robert in the match, so you might as well keep it up. Mm-hmm. He's got the infantry and tanks on standby, so once the RT drops, you'll be able to claim that flag back.
True. I'm trying to see. That Stug has taken on a T-34. Yeah, as this artillery strike comes in, yes, this should be enough. So that's not the 380, that's a 210, isn't it? Yeah, that's a 210. The lung's going to go blue, and I don't think... Oh, no, the IL-2's going after... Oh my god, this could be terrible!
Oh, he might get a double kill.
He might get, a quad kill. Quadra kill. Quadra kill.
That's probably, in terms of just the amount of kills, that's probably one of the most effective cluster of bombs runs I've seen in a while. Holy crap.
He means to say ever, ladies and gentlemen. More IL-2s to the north, though. Not to be outdone. There's more bombs being dropped. Funny thing is, I think Gonzo is going to expect to have the chance to really rally his troops and move them forwards. And he might have half a second to do that, and then all of them going to just completely evaporate into little bloody pieces.
Yeah, Gonzo has done a pretty good job of reversing some of the momentum. As you see up north, he's using proper CQC infantry, and those are pretty good counter against the Fallschirmjagers once you can actually get them up close. And just in the center, I think Herr Robert kind of made a bit of a misplay, moving up a little bit too aggressively into his own artillery.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that definitely does seem fair. But it still is a 12-12, and so far, Gonzo's the only one who's lost any kind of verifiable points. Yeah.
Herr Robert's still in a pretty good position. He just needs to recapture a flag on one of the central lung positions, and it's a balance on balance. So just, the slow and steady plus one income is all one really needs.
True. But like you said, this is an infantry meta, so at this point, the infantry meta has to go to the stronger infantry, and I get the feeling that we know where that's coming from.
Yeah, those Fallschirmjagers are pretty nuts. It's just going to be about using that fire support and also your superior rocks. I better start rocking some Fallschirmjagers soon because they're starting to get a little bit, uncountable.
Yep, getting kind of squirrely. But there are Su-85s and lots of Sapirtsi moving on in, and there's not a whole lot to face them down. There's some, just not much.
No, yeah, not a whole lot here. That one Su-85 is going to provide a, adequate amount of fire support, but you can only really do so much. It's going to be about these superior rocks. A lot of Herr Robert's infantry is a little bit spread out here, so if he's catch them with their pants down one by one, he should be able to make good progress through this forest.
I guess my question to you is, though, do you really want your assault gun to be worried that much about assaulting. Like that's a that's a tank destroyer for a reason.
Yeah, you really kind of want T-34s on that hill.
Yeah. Yeah. And considering... Yes, please.
No, just a crap ton of IL-2s. It's just been constantly bombing riches. I mean, this is what you need to be doing.
Well, the 380 is going to go down to the north, but at the same time, I think that was the last barrage? No, it wasn't the last barrage. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah, and still no Luftwaffe. Gonzo really Herr Robert really needs to start dealing with these airplanes, because it's getting a little bit silly for him now.
Yes. Yes, and that's a fair way to put it, to say it's a little bit silly. You got the BF-109s. I mean, yes, you don't want to go and be fighting, Sturmovix consistently with them, but still worthwhile. Still worthwhile. But last barrage is going to come on into the northern side. It's going to catch every bit of attacking Fallschirmjagers. We'll get some of the Russians, the Polish as well, but still, I wouldn't argue it's not really worth it.
Oh, the off map?
Yeah, he doesn't have the right troops to kind of follow it up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Most of his guys are pinned down, unfortunately. And he just needs to kill superior rocks. There's not a whole lot of him in Gonzo's deck. It's really just strokey spam once you get into C phase.
Mm-hmm.
He really doesn't have a whole lot of CQC troops, which is going to screw him over, because, strokey DPs are good, but in a long-range fight, they just lose the Fallschirmjagers.
True. True.
Oh, and this lung position, we're seeing a smoky pussy from Gonzo.
Well, and guys, don't smoke, because you can see what this is what happens to your lungs. And geez, wow, yeah. A lot of bruising going on here as red rushes into blue. And as great as it is to have these rocks kind of in the same area, I don't know if they're going to match up well at greater than 2-to-1 odds.
Yeah, they do decent, but they are taking heavy casualties, and Gonzo only has so much CQC troops.
Yeah, this truly is a remember thou art mortal moment, and I think the Poles are finding that out right now, that for all of their fervor, that just isn't enough anymore.
Yeah. The Fallschirmjagers are just coming in and picking off the Polish infantry, and those S-35s can't really do too much.
Well, it's down to a 15-9 here, as the Fallschirmjagers are taking horrific casualties to do it, but they are clearing that out one by one. And like you said, Strelky squads, it's great to bring them in. They're really strong, but they're not going to be the only thing that kind of take everything through by themselves.
Yeah. They're good at holding the line, but even then, they're just not very good against third Fallschirmjager, like I said. They just don't hold out in terms of long-range firepower. And even the PTRD they have is pretty useless, because there's not a whole lot of armor, heck, even light armor you have to worry about for third Fallschirmjager.
Oh look, the IL-2 will finally get forced away without dropping its bombs. That is one sortie out of 35 that has been ineffective.
Yep. Yeah, those Flak 36s are definitely coming in at the right time.
You're coming in at the right time, but I would argue that that's not still the right call. I think deterrence is better than even allowing them to come in. So if you throw up a BF-109 or so, yeah, you might have a yak attack, but I don't know. I still think...
He has taken heavy casualties from the IL-2s, but the thing is, Gonzo hasn't been able to actually follow up with any of those attacks. They've killed Fallschirmjagers, but he's managed to bring in more Fallschirmjagers to defend the point. So it sucks that he didn't have the anti-air schooner, but he's been doing pretty good, all things considering.
That's fair. I think at the same time I'm watching as artillery rounds are coming in from the Su-76s. And those Flak 36s, as good as they are, they can't repel firepower. This isn't like, an R2-D2 thing where they're firing as the rounds come in.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a great call-in from Gonzo, because he needs to blow up those Flak 36s if he wants a chance of getting back into that town, because it's all about the IL-2.
Oh, God. He's firing clusters of infantry. That's got to be a war crime somewhere, but,
Yeah. Yeah, just trying to get those stunning hits. But he's not going to be able to follow through all that effectively. It's a little bit mistimed. So he's going to be able to get a little bit of ground into the town, but still a lot of his reinforcements are still making their way.
Yeah, I suppose that's fair. You know, that these are all the Flak 36s that are going to be seen on this map. So I'm wondering... Oh, look! A JU-88. Interesting.
Oh, wow.
He's going after the T-34 with that. I think I probably would have gone for the infantry instead, but, you know, that's a very interesting call. Very interesting call. I'm confused by it.
Yeah, not going to do all that much. I'm thinking maybe for there's a little bit more infantry here, but not going to be all that effective. And for Gonzo, if he wants to like do effective in this town, he really needs to get more of those T-34s. Just try to flank around the town of them and just use them as like long-range fire support to back up the infantry here.
Exactly. Exactly. Now we are going to continue to get more and more of them. And now the SU-76s, how... Okay, now they still have a good chunk of ammunition here. Just want to check the supply situation as well. It does look like there is a possibility of getting more supply trucks in, so the SU-76s can stay committed to their particular role. Oh no, T-34 is going to run afoul of a Fallschirmjaeger. It's up. As I say, he is literally right next to him. If he does not kill him, he should be sent. Forget to the Russian front. Send him to, like, the Antarctic front.
Yeah, I was a little bit optimistic moving the T-34 unsupported like out here. But we are seeing that a lot of the German troops in the town are pinned down, so this is a very good chance for Gonzo to come on in. We're seeing a Stug being brought in, but just for the amount of strokey DPs, that one Stug is not going to be enough.
No, it isn't. Now, we have a potential of seeing an actual kill on an IL-2 in the center. Pilot's panicked. That's the most nervous he's been the entire day. And it does not go down, though.
Has a single IL-2? Okay, that answers my question.
Did it finally die? Oh, how about that? Yeah.
Huh.
That's the first time here. ME-410, screw the danger close. He just has, you know, I see two things, targets and dead men.
Yeah, we're just seeing a whole heap of firepower. I mean, both sides really invest in really just Gonzo investing quite a bit in artillery and airborne artillery, and it is starting to work out a little bit for him as he's managed to capture both of the flags in the northern town, but he still lost the middle and southern position, so it's still going to screw him over, and there's no real way he can really get a good foothold down south. There's just way too much stuff here.
Also, ME-410, going back to its actual role as just a fighter more than just a fighter bomber, dropped its payload and now he took down a second IL-2. So this could be the beginnings of, well, some actual air support.
Yeah.
Another 1,000 kilos to the front, yes, sir?
No, it's really just going to come down to just knocking out those IL-2s at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he's starting to do that. Because without flight support, Gonzo can't really do much. I mean, he's spamming more Strelkeys against some S-35s up north. But Herr Robert has, dug into I was going to say, like, Stalingrad, but I think Montevideo is a bit more of an apt comparison.
Yeah, I would say so. Hopefully they move the stuff out before they shelled the entire place, but I somehow doubt it. But we are heading over here towards 30 minutes. What's the prognosis, sir? What are you thinking?
It seems like Gonzo's just kind of buggered. He's lost all momentum. Herr Robert is just stuck in extremely raw. I think it's a very good case of where usually Fallschirmjager divisions get banned when you're doing the division picks league, because the infantry is really, really, really good. There's some of the best infantry in the game, just hands down. And it can be very tough to deal with. Like, you really have to, focus heavily on CQC troops. Ironically, the VDV division would probably be a decent counter pick to the Fallschirmjagers, because then if you can play the smoke game well and the CQC SMG teams, which are extremely cheap, you can do a decent job against Fallschirmjagers, but that requires quite a bit of micro to use that division effectively.
I love, by the way, there's a Panzer Group Abwehr that is just chasing Su-85s through the forest. Like, he's literally chasing them out off the top of this hill. He has chased this thing for a kilometer or more. And I don't think he's going to get the kill in time, because we are seeing it is 16-8, as the south-central position has just completely evaporated. There is nothing there.
Yeah, he is just pushing on through.
And a very, very interesting bombing on that one. I think it was just that was a panic bomb of, I think there's somebody here, but I can't say for sure.
Mm-hmm. Seen more IL-2 attacks, this one on a regular Stug. And no, it doesn't even need it.
He does pin all of his own infantry, though. So curious, but completely understandable. Mm-hmm.
He's having to go up against not one, not two, but three Su-85s, and he's dead.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Or will he somehow just limp away? Because now he's also being supported by another Stug. With another shooter killed.
Oh, bomb and run.
Well, one's down, crew killed on the other one. But Fallschirmjaeger is over here, still picking up with Panzerfaust, so good kills nonetheless. It is 14-10 over here. I think we've seen... I think we've seen some people warming up. I think this is about, curtains for our good friend Gonzo.
Yeah.
Napalm, in the meantime, does take out one.
Oh, wow.
Kills a truck, not technically killing anything else here. And bombs to the north. Not the greatest payload, but still enough, I think, to panic in general. So, well done there.
Yeah, napalm bomb and run effect. Like, super satisfying. It's like watching dominoes fall, but, more fiery and deadly.
Yeah, I imagine we probably wouldn't want to have the actual existence of that. But, yeah, you're absolutely correct. Again, even after years of this, man, this game still doesn't fail to impress sometimes with those graphics.
Mm-hmm. Especially the explosions.
Oh, absolutely.
The explosions are the best part.
And let's see, as we go into the last 48 seconds. Yeah, I think what you said before is pretty darn accurate. Yep, Gonzo taps. And if you look at the stats overall, surprisingly similar.
Oh, wow.
Surprisingly similar. I think it's basically because it's just the foot sloggers back and forth. Yep, the one IL-2, 1, 2, 3, 4. He got 4 kills, and all of them on a single bomb run. So well done, sir.
Not bad at all, but yeah, no other fancy picks on the Polish side. On the Germans, nothing really crazy either, which is quite interesting, considering it's all especially the infantry, all uber elite stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely, but it's what happened. We kind of expected that to happen. We understand why it happened. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, it's just those Fallschirmjagers, you really don't mess about with them. So ban them when you can.
Exactly. Any last words, though, sir?
No.
Okay, well, folks, in that case, then we will see you a little bit later this week with another lovely, lovely replay. Until then, though, I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.